to Disrupt Education. I got Patrick Chrisp here. I am in his studio. Tell me about where we are right now.
Okay, so we are currently at a studio called Fat Tongue. A few years back, me and my friend Kyle, we had our own studio. Ran into some problems. Some people decided it was a good idea to rob the place. So since then, we've been kind of freelancing, working out of different spots, trying to get back to where we were. So this is just one of those spots where it's a great spot, and they work hand in hand with us, and we work hand in hand with them to try to build something new and great for Chicago.
Nice, man. So back in the day, a couple years back, I had Patrick in class, but you were focused. You knew kind of your path. Tell us a little bit about your high school experience, and then until now, like what was your learning like?
Well, high school was one of those things where I had ideas and thoughts that everyone would tell me made no sense. So I was always one of those kids where I'm like, why do I have to go to math class if I don't want to be an engineer? Like, if I'm not trying to learn how to contract, why should I have to learn the Pythagorean theorem? And then the teachers would always say, well, it builds your skills for logic and reasoning. And then I remember this specific discussion with a teacher, and they were like, yeah, this builds logic and reasoning skills. And I was like, don't I show that I have that by saying something like what I just said? And then the teacher looked at me like, oh, this is a smart ass. And I'm like, it's not that. It's more so like it doesn't make sense for me to be in this environment. Like, I don't want to do this. I want to do music. I want to create. And you're just making me learn the same stuff that they've been teaching since the Greeks were the leader of the world instead of America. And that was thousands of years ago. So why does this matter?
Right.
And that's my whole thing. I just wanted to create something new. So
when you were in school, what were you creating? Like, what was your outlet? Like, what did you do like to get out of that box? Because you already always had like a vision in you, and I saw it as a teacher, and sometimes it was misconceived. It was like, just like you said, like, oh, he's kind of a smart aleck, you know. But then when you started listening, you're like, wait, no, this cat knows what he wants.
Yeah.
But how did you get through that? Because high school must have been tough for you.
It definitely was tough, and I got through it, I guess, because, well, one day, like, random, I'm riding my bike to go visit my grandma, and I look down, and there's like $100 just blowing in the street, and I like slam the bike on the ground, get up, and I like grab all the money. I think it came out to like $107 or something like that. It was a lady who saw me grabbing the money, and she hopped out her car too. So I probably would have had a bunch more, but she was like, oh, I'm getting a part of this.
Right.
And as soon as I got it, I called my friend who had a car at the time, and I was like, bro, we got to go to Best Buy. I just found this money. We're finna go buy a microphone. And then he was like, what? Let's go. And then I grabbed the microphone, and from that point forward, which was my sophomore year in high school, I just got out of class and went right home, which kept me out of a lot of trouble, and then just made music all day, all night.
Wow, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Like, there was money blowing in the wind, and then boom,
yeah,
you just started.
Turned it into a career and a lifestyle.
Nice. So as you guys literally built this area, this whole facility here, right?
So me and Kyle, who's my partner, we came in right at the tail end of the people here at Fat Tongue. My friend Joel, Alex, and Zach. They were pretty much almost done. We helped with like the last finishing touches, hanging stuff like this up and things like that. But they built all of this from scratch and inspired us to do the same, because we were going to go out and hire people and things like that and go get the best of the best and things like that. But we were like, I mean, we know what needs to be done, so we might as well do it ourselves and cut the middle guy out. So we're currently working on building our own facility, very similar to this, but you know, with our own special touches.
Right. So what have you learned with as you're an entrepreneur? You're dealing with customers, people coming in using your facility. How is that learning going?
I think it's one of those things that, like, I always tell my mom, because she's like, you should really just go to school. And I'm like, I'm going to go to school to do the same thing that I'm doing now without the debt. So,
right.
Like, why would I go to school? And she was like, that paper really matters. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. I'm a creative. Like, So at the end of the day, as long as I can create something that's sustainable and enjoyable, people are going to come and people are going to buy into it. Especially because I don't treat it like it's just a job. I treat it like this is a child, a part of my life that I started, whether it be by accident or on purpose, and then I've watched it grow into something that I'm very proud of.
Yeah. I mean, in walking through this facility, it's like, A, you're making me feel old, so thank you. But B, like, it is, like, you can see you have clients in the back already working and doing some recording and such. So let's turn the back into, if you were the decision maker at a systemic high school or education system, being a creator, a creative, how would you change it?
I think that high school should be set up in the same way college is, where there are certain things that you have to learn, like math, writing, reading, and things like that. But you find inventive ways to teach those and then build a structure around that where the individual gets to decide what else they learn, versus, there just being a system of you have to take history, you have to take this, you have to take that. Like, let me take the histories that I want to learn. So let me learn Buddhist history or Hinduism and things of that nature, versus having to sit there and just learn about the same people that I've been learning about since 4th grade in different ways, or however you want to flip it. And then at the same time making those core classes be core classes endemic to what it is that you plan to do moving forward from high school. So if I need to take a math class, me wanting to do music, you make me take a class where I'm learning the mechanics of sonics. So I'm learning sound, and now I'm learning frequencies, and which is still teaching me plus and minus and up and down and division and all of these things that I need to learn apparently, but I'm learning them in ways that apply directly to what it is that I plan on doing with my life.
What's the biggest thing you've learned from stepping outside the high school kind of constrictive realm into business?
The biggest thing that I learned in business is that, they say like it's a dog-eat-dog world when it comes to business. It is, but dogs run in packs when they're in the wild. So as long as you have a pack around you that you really trust, and it's a pack that's willing to fight tooth and nail alongside you, you're gonna sustain yourself in business. As long as your pack is good, you're good.
Solid. That's a great analogy. I like that. Even we had a dog in here. In a
Kelly.
So, if you could tell a high school student now, sophomore, junior, senior, whatever, who is a creative like you, what advice would you give them?
They're not crazy. I think that's the big thing. When you're in a space like conventional high school, they try to make you feel as if because you think that everything that pretty much everyone else feels is right is wrong, there's something wrong with you. And it's like, or maybe you guys are all following the flock. Like, you know what I'm saying? I've always been sometimes to a fault, because sometimes I'll just go against the grain so I can say I went against the grain, which is not always good, but at the same time it's done more good for me than it has bad. And I think the ability to challenge conventional thinking is something that a person in high school should be more willing to embrace, versus always wanting to be a part of the cool kids or whatever group that you've been grouped into. Be more willing to, me as a black kid from Chicago, and a rapper, being willing to hang out with a white kid from River Forest who wants to be a lawyer when he grows up. Like, you have to be willing to sometimes break down barriers just for the sake of being able to say I did it.
What's next for Patrick Chrisp?
The Grammys.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm currently working on an album right now, and it's one of those things where when I have projects that I've done before, EPs and mixtapes and things like that, and those were all fun. Those were all of the moment for me. But this is the first time where I cohesively put together like a bunch of moments, a bunch of different feelings, and a bunch of different energy, and all compiled it into one thing, and it feels like I built a person. Like I put a little soul in here, a little energy, some blood, some sweat, some tears, a heart, brain, and then like now I get to watch this person like go out into the world and see what happens, and it's very, very weird.
But I can't wait to see what you do next, man. Like, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at the Kid Ghost with an underscore at the end, and on SoundCloud you can find me at the Kid Ghost with a $ for the S, because prestige gets the money.
Yeah, you know it. Somebody's got to get it, right?
Yeah.
Patrick, thank you for inviting me in, man. This is great. You got a lot going on here. You are a true disruptor of education, and I appreciate you, man.
And thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, you bet. Guys, keep your eyes out for this guy. We'll put all the connects down below. Till next time, keep disrupting.